All right, so our next topic, as I have it all set up. So it is a new year. It is 2018. This is the first official podcast of 2018, actually, thinking about it. Um, and with a new year, there's going to be some things that we're all excited for, what we hope to see happen in the game industry in the future, and so on. So I want to take this time to talk about what games are you excited for this year? Like what do you want to see in the game industry as far as like change or to that nature? Obviously, the one big
I'll say straight up, like, first things first. One of the bigger things I would like to see change in the gaming industry, something that we've seen a problem of, is uh, writers and developers not getting the recommendation they deserve. Something that has been plaguing the industry for years is how these publishers will just release a game and it's all about the game. Like I said with Battlefront 2, like, everyone was shitting on it and saying it was terrible and yada yada yada, but nobody was taking into context how hard the development team worked on that game. No one cared. No one cared.
uh,
And that was so disheartening to me.
I was gonna say, like, if you're talking about people who want to be more credited to their work, like, isn't the reason why the credits at the end of the game are there for?
Yeah, but I'm not like, so what? So what that the credits are there? Anthony, if you worked your ass off, you worked 12-hour days on a game and it finally released and you were like, I'm really proud of this, but then the general public hated it for something small like microtransactions and didn't buy the game or play it because of something that the publisher forced onto the development team, how pissed off and how disheartened would you feel?
I mean, it depends on how much I'm really into the game I'm making. Like, I don't
I
know.
just said you're proud of it. I just
Oh,
said
okay.
that.
Well, then yes, I would be pissed.
Yeah. I mean, it's less about being pissed and more about just being disheartened by the industry, disheartened by the consuming populace. Like, give credit where credit's due, guys. Like, yeah, the game may not be perfect because of certain aspects, but that doesn't mean that you have to then treat everybody involved like they're absolute trash. Like, that's something that I cannot stress enough. Like, start giving credit to developers. I don't care if you like the game or not. Stop treating developers like shit.
That's never gonna happen because it's gonna continue to
I'm gonna
happen.
continue fighting it then.
Yeah, it's gonna continue to happen because yeah, I mean, you're totally right. You're totally right in saying like you definitely need to get more people to give more credit for these developers and artists and whatnot. They don't get the time of day that most other people do, like a Hideo Kojima, like a Reggie face like these guys who are in front of these companies who are being the PR.
Well, yeah,
Um,
there are the superstars that are always in the camera's face, and
yeah,
they're the ones telling you what like, they're just there. They're just always there. They're the rock star developers, if you were the rock star. I guess developers is
right,
the best
right,
term I
yeah,
can come up with.
definitely, definitely.
But like, what about the guy that spoke on Reddit who worked on um, uh, Mass Effect Andromeda? And he was like, I put my heart and soul into like aspects of that game. I wanted to make the world look lush. I wanted to make enemies look really cool, and like tireless hours
Is it?
on that game
I
for
mean,
people to just shit on it.
could
Like, it was really hard on him.
could the argument be made that the reason why you don't hear about his people and you hear more of the superstar developers that are more in front of their company is that they want to take away any distractions that that person may have, kind of like how kind of like a sports team does it, where you have the coach who is out there talking to the press, but they don't want them to talk to the team because they don't want to have them distracted, so that they'll just be more focused for the next game, or have big, or, get a big ego and so on. Could an argument be
Well, I
made for
think
that? Like you don't want the development team to be too distracted that may end up hurting the production of the game.
I don't know what that has to do with what I'm referring to.
No, I'm saying that like you're like, would you say like that same mentality of why of a football team or basketball team where the coach is out there and taking all publicity and everything else? Could you also same argument for why people who are making
Oh,
a
I'm
game?
not Anthony. I'm not referring to the fact that that we shouldn't have the Rockstar developers, or that that the Rockstar developers are a bad thing. What I'm getting at is that when you have a development team that worked on a game that does not have a Rockstar
Oh, okay.
developer in front of the camera,
Mm-hmm.
um, people tend to forget that there are tons of people working on said game.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to forget that games don't just magically grow on trees and then plop into your fucking Xbox. Like they there are human beings that are working on this stuff. There are human beings that are dumping their heart and soul, like Mitch Dwyer. I keep coming back to Battlefront 2, but Mitch Dwyer on Twitter, he said around the Christmas time, he was like, right after Christmas, he was like, like after the release of Battlefront 2, I was incredibly depressed by the reception that it got. But after seeing a bunch of people getting it for Christmas and playing it and enjoying it, like it's brought some light to this dark time. Like not so many words. I'm paraphrasing here, but
Right.
like that was very nice to see. Like, because could you imagine what he's going through? Could you imagine what he's experiencing? Okay, sorry, Valeria. I read that as sarcasm, but I was like, I see like a Kappa.
Kappas are always good for sarcasm, guys.
But he wrote Battlefront 2 story. Like and it doesn't matter if you like it or not. Like, come on, like it.
I mean, you can give credit to a game that's good or bad. Like you could say,
I
like,
just want people to have more respect for people. That's what this comes down to, Anthony. Like, you're not wrong. It's not going to happen. People are still going to be shitty, but like, I would just like to see more of it. Maybe, like, it's just killer to me. Like, everyone sits there and plays PUBG, and that's not a finished game. Like, it still has lots of problems, but nobody's just like, nobody sits there and on a big media platform and just like, God, PlayerUnknown's a piece of shit. Like, that doesn't happen.
No.
So,
Yeah.
we talked for 8 minutes about this one thing that I brought up briefly.
I'll say this real quickly. It's the last remaining thing. Just what I like to see in 2018. I'm just more excited for. I want 2017 to happen again. Like, I want to see awesome games they came out in 2017 that happened again in 2018, because there were a ton of awesome games that came out last year that I'm really excited for. So
I think we'll have 2 years of like, I mean, we'll have a bunch of fun games in 2018 and in 2019, but I think 2020 we're gonna get another year like 2017. I think it'll take a little while before we have another year like that. But yeah, man, like, I mean, there's a lot that I'm looking forward to, especially, like, we have 2 coming up in January, and
yeah,
I'm excited to see what Nintendo brings to the board. Like, again, I honestly believe that the Switch is the best of the 3 consoles, and I'm very, very excited to see what they do this year with that. So
you're not entirely wrong, and there's definitely some other things I do want to talk about, but it'll be in the after show. So if you guys want to stick around and get more of our thoughts on,
because we spent 8 minutes talking about me yelling at people.
Yeah, like we always do every week. Well, not all the time. It's just mainly you.
Look, you kept bringing it up. I finished it. You were just like, well, what about this, Greg? What about a sports player? And I was like, I don't know.
Oh, it is now time